This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Today's video is brought to you by Incogni. In just a moment, I'm going to talk about an offer exclusive to you that I believe you should take advantage of. Before I get to that, though, let's talk about the problem that persists in the Republican Party with white nationalism, with racists flocking to the party. Being someone who is not afraid of history or the teaching of history, as you should be, we should be open about the fact that the Democratic Party isn't today what it once was. And as on the same side of that same coin, the Republican Party is not the same today as it once was. The Republican Party started with noble intent, the party of Lincoln, eradicating slavery, fundamentally changing the Union. And Democrats were the ones who started the KKK. That is not to say that that is the case today, because it is not. When you see someone waving a Confederate flag, or donning a hood, or wearing a swastika, those people aren't Democrats today. Those people voted for Donald Trump. Those people endorsed Donald Trump. Donald Trump himself refused to disavow the endorsement of the former Grand Wizard of the KKK, David Duke. So the modern Democratic Party is a party dedicated to the proposition of human and civil rights. Do they go as far as they should to protect them? Not always. But Republicans stand in the way of that progress. And I say it's a problem in the Republican Party because elected officials up and down the spectrum, elected Republicans, they court this base. Nick Fuentes being one of them. Marjorie Taylor Greene this weekend spoke at a White Nationalist conference hosted by Nick Fuentes, the America First Political Action Conference. America First being the slogan that the Ku Klux Klan emblazoned on signs and marched in cities all across America. It's not a new saying, America First. And we're going to have to grapple with this particular element within one of the two major political parties in our country, if indeed we want progress in America. I'm going to talk and play clips from this particular conference and Marjorie Taylor Greene's denial. What? Who is that? I don't know who that is. And then I'm going to read some tweets. Before I get to that, though, a word from today's sponsor, Incogni.
Last week, I told everybody about a new product I'm using called Incogni. Incogni is a service designed to protect your privacy and remove your personal data from internet marketers. By simply failing to uncheck a box in an online transaction or even just searching for information on the web, you can unwittingly compromise your personal data or open yourself up to all kinds of spam. In the 1 week that I've started using Incogni, I've noticed a marked decrease in the amount of targeted spam in my inbox. I've also been receiving fewer weirdo phone calls from weirdo unknown numbers. It took only a couple of minutes to get started, and Incogni was off to the races defending my data. Protect your information and your privacy today. The first 100 people to use code Dollemore at the link below will get 20% off of Incogni. Go to incogni.com/Dollemore now and use code Dollemore to pull your personal data from the internet. These companies likely already have your email address and phone number, but what else do they have? Your employment history, your social security number? To stop them, each of those data brokers has a set of requirements for removing your personal data from their sites, some requiring phone calls, some requiring forms, etc. Who has the time to figure all of that out, or who has the knowledge of how to navigate each of these companies' specific policies? Incogni does. Incogni handles all of the tedious and complicated work for you. Shield your information and support this channel at the same time by heading to incogni.com/Dollemore. Again, the first 100 people to use code Dollemore at the link below will get 20% off of Incogni. defend your data with Incogni.
So if you don't know, because you don't traffic in these circles and you don't pay attention to the vile and sinister, hateful rhetoric of racists, you might not know who Nick Fuentes is. He is an identitarian. He is a white nationalist. He is a racist. He is a Holocaust denier. He's also a troll. And he hosted this conference that Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke at. I'm going to play this very first clip, which is him introducing her, so we can just get it out there that she was there, introduced by him, shaking his hand, and taking the stage.
We have a new mystery speaker tonight who I'll be announcing to you right now. Very exciting. She is a standard bearer of Trumpism in the U.S. Congress. She is pro-life. She is proudly America first. And I want to say a very special thank you to Milo Yiannopoulos for making this happen. He made this happen. He put it together. Whoops. That's Milo over there. He's throwing some stuff around. But thanks to him, we are honored, we are humbled and excited to welcome to the stage right now for our first speech, and we love to get to know her much better. I think this is going to be the beginning of something great. The representative from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Well, hello, canceled Americans.
Cute. Hello, canceled Americans. And why, pray tell, would they be canceled, Marjorie Taylor Greene? Could it be because it's a room filled with Nazis? With white nationalists? Racists? White supremacists? Terrorists? I mean, listen, I don't believe that cancel culture is a thing, but if it were a thing, wouldn't Nazis be the first on the list? Now, she denies it. First, before we even get to that, let's put into action some of the things I've been talking about who Nick Fuentes is. And there are two clips I want to play. One is his resounding support for the military invasion of Ukraine and for Vladimir Putin himself. And this crowd, this large crowd of white young men who are chanting Putin, Putin, Putin when he talks about him. Watch this.
You know, they say about America, they say, diversity is our strength, you know. And I look at China and I look at Russia. Can we give a round of applause for Russia? Yes. Absolutely, absolutely.
So in the same breath, while denigrating diversity, racial diversity in this case, he wants to give a round of applause for a hostile foreign power. These are traitors to the United States of America. And here he is with a cute little remark about how, well, people are comparing Putin to Hitler like that's such a bad thing. This is who he is. This is what this conference is about, and this is the conference that she accepted an invitation to speak at. Watch Nick Fuentes.
Mandate deadly vaccines, enhance the powers of the federal surveillance state. Let's face it, the United States government has become the evil empire in the world. The United States government has become the great Satan that many have called it. What even is our main export? We have our embassies and consulates all across the world. They wave the flag of what? Transsexuals, Black Lives Matter, the gay pride flag. You know, being an American used to mean something, and now it means all this crap. And it's a shame. You take a look at China. I hear Fox News and conservatives talk all the time about the Chi-Coms, Chinese social credit system. Have you taken a look at what Google and Facebook are trying to do? Social credit system. And now they're going on about Russia and Vladimir Putin is Hitler. And they say that's not a good thing. And I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. But what other way is there to say it? Of course we know that's a terrible comparison.
This Holocaust-denying little puke, this spineless coward, cracks his little jokes while calling the United States the great Satan, the evil empire, while praising Adolf Hitler. Spewing his bigotry, his anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ, anti-black. And Marjorie Taylor Greene shared the stage with him, which was followed, of course, by denials. What? Who's that? Watch this.
I do not know Nick Fuentes. I've never heard him speak. I've never seen a video. I don't know what his views are, so I'm not aligned with anything that may be controversial. What I can tell you is I went to his event last night to address his very large following, because that is it's a very young following, and it's a generation I'm extremely concerned about.
It's a white nationalist group.
Excuse me a minute. I'll tell you exactly why I went. I went to talk to them about America First policies, and I talked to them about what's important for our country going forward. Now, in regards to Russia, Putin is a murderer, and he should have never invaded Ukraine. What he is doing is completely wrong. I stand with our NATO member allies, and I'm completely against this war.
It's a white nationalist
Excuse
group.
me, I'm going to finish. Everything that he's doing is wrong. He's killing people over and over.
Do you endorse Nick Fuentes' views?
Excuse me, I don't know what his views are. I've never...
He's a white nationalist.
I do not endorse those views. The reason why I went was to talk to the audience, just like I've talked to many different audiences. I've talked to Democrat union workers earlier this week. I've talked here at CPAC. I talked to his people who were there. It wasn't an alignment. It was to talk about getting everyone together to save our country. And I think that's what's
Could I ask,
important.
why did you take the stage, though?
An appearance is an
After he said that
endorsement.
young white men were the secret sauce.
Which, of course, just isn't true. There are photos of her with Nick Fuentes and Michelle Malkin, another malcontent. This is gross. And there will be nothing done because this is pattern and practice for the Republican Party. Standard operating procedure. Appeal to a vile group of racists, deny that you knew what it was about, and go on with business as usual, having secured their endorsement. She did take to Twitter and gave an explanation and justification for her sharing the stage with such reprehensible characters. 14 tweets. I'm not going to read all 14. I'm going to read 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Starts with being truly America first. Remember, the KKK marched with America First signs. That's what this is about. America First doesn't mean, oh, we just need to take care of Americans. It means white America first. It means make America great again. Let's go back to a time when white supremacy and white dominance were the absolute accepted order of the day. That's what they mean. Being truly America first means rejecting the Democrat obsession with skin color, sexuality, and gender. It means having the courage to stop agonizing over fake divisions and disingenuous allegations from our godless and gutless mainstream media. So, we're obsessed with skin color, sexuality, and gender, yet you just heard a clip of who is actually obsessed with it. And it's the identitarians. It's the white nationalists. He's the one talking about the transgender flag and the pride flag and Black Lives Matter, obsessing over it. Yet they project and act like that's us. The 5th tweet in the 14-tweet series, it doesn't matter if I'm speaking to Democrat union members or 1,200 young conservatives who feel cast aside and marginalized by society. Boo-hoo, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You will not be seeing me, and I hope you will not be seeing any of you out there crying for the marginalized Nazis in America. They are where they deserve to be, marginalized by the rest of polite, civilized society. People who love one another and endeavor for a more diverse society, who endeavor for a more accepting, compassionate, empathetic worldview. The 3rd of 14, or the 7th of 14, says, I won't cancel others in the conservative movement, even if I find some of their statements tasteless, misguided, or even repulsive at times. So you'll share the stage with Nazis to own the libs. You'll share the stage with Nazis because cancel culture. Fantastic, Margie. 10 of 14, the atheist media demands no disavowal from left-wing politicians who hang out with jihadis and abortionists, but they demand immediate disavowals of any Republican willing to speak to 1,200 people gathered to declare that Christ is king and brands them only by their sins. Well, if they were truly there to announce, to declare that Christ is king, then why are they also there to denigrate God's creation? You can't truly be a disciple of Christ while believing we should separate ourselves by our skin color, calling for violence against non-white people in this country. Right, Margie? 13 of 14, we are stronger when we stand united with one another, focused on saving our country instead of divided in judgment toward each other. We must reject identity politics. Listen, white politics is just as much identity politics as anything else, but because it's the norm, you don't look at it as identity politics. The fact that you want to snuff out rights for transgender and gay Americans and Black Lives Matter, that is identity politics. Maintaining and upholding a white supremacist worldview is the most identity politics thing you can do, Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is where we are with our Republican Party in this country. One of two major political parties, one of two of the only political parties with really any power, and they are courting the white supremacist vote. Letting Marjorie Taylor Greene is effectively a leader of the Republican Party. She has the minority leader, Kevin McCarthy, all twisted in knots trying to please her in order that he's able to keep his power. There's no punishment being levied. There's no censure. The Democrats had to strip her of her committee assignments. What do you think? What are we going to do here? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I appreciate your time and attention. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing and liking and commenting on the videos. All that goes a long way toward amplifying my presence on YouTube through the algorithm, the magic secret algorithm. Follow me on social media. I'd love to Love to connect with you there. And if I bring you some value here on the platform, you can click the join button below this video, become a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month, or you can head on over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.